Greetings, 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 everyone. It is our what? It is our favorite time of the week. It is noon on Friday, Eastern time. This is Epic Cash Live. And you know, I always have to double check my mute. It's on mute, so that's good. It won't blow out my ears or yours. And so today we have what we do. If you don't know Enrique or L. McMurphy, he will quickly introduce himself. I have Max Freeman, founder of Epic Cash, on the line, and also our favorite yoga dude, who he will be transitioning from his car to his office, and he'll be coming in probably in about 20 minutes or so. And he has some exciting news to be able to share with all of you. So if you want to know more about yoga and Enrique and Max, go listen to last Friday's Epic Cash Live. We did kind of an intro, so if you're new to the party, welcome. That would be a good place to start. But today we're just going to get right down into the numbers. So Enrique, I give it to you, sir. What are we looking at here?
All right. Good morning, everyone. What we're looking at is a comparison of a thought experiment that I did, which began on September 3rd of this year. To figure out what would happen if I invested $1,000 into Epic Cash and $1,000 into the top 15 coins by market cap ranking at that date. So first, we'll dive right into Epic. The price per coin in US dollars on September 3rd was 32 cents per Epic. So $1,000 would have bought you 3,125 Epic. And if we move forward to today, which every Friday we take a snapshot at the same time, 11:15 a.m. Eastern time, to keep track of the performance of each coin. So today the price at this time was $2.99. So with 3,125 coins, that would be worth 9,000.
I just lost you. Just lost your audio. Can you hear him, Max? Hey.
No, I'm not hearing him.
We're not able to hear you. We totally lost your audio. So, yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to wait for him to come back in, I guess. Let me check up here. I'm going to stop the share just to be able to see if there's anything that I can do on my end. He is completely out. So
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, and I can see you now. So we're back. Okay, let me go back in and I'll share that. And sorry, everyone, for that little minor technical difficulty. Things happen.
All right, so where was I? All right, we were, hold on, the screen is cut, but.
Oh, you can't see it?
I can't see it. I can only see the first column.
Oh, wow. Well, that's super strange. I see what you're saying. Stop share. And we're going to get this right, guys. We'll do can you see the whole thing now?
Yeah, it's perfect now.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, no problem. So we were at the price of Epic Cash today is $2.99. So to summarize what $1,000 invested on September 3rd would be worth today, it's $9,343. So you would basically have a profit of $8,343, which is a portfolio value percentage increase of 834.38%. And that's quite impressive. As awareness for the coin has grown, people have started buying. There have been a lot less sellers, and demand's going up, and supply available to buy is going down. So that's what has caused this massive price increase. And you can see the rest of the coins. Solana, you would have been able to buy 7 Solana, which on September 3rd, it was trading at $142. And today it's trading at $232 at the time of the snapshot. So you'd be up 631 bucks. That's the same as a 63% increase. And you can see the rest of the coins that have done well. Polkadot's up 54%, Luna 49%, BTC is up 23%. You can see the other ones in red that have not done so well during this time. But you can see clearly that Epic has been outperforming the rest by a long shot. So
Enrique,
it's a tendency that I expect to continue.
Enrique, can I make a polite request here?
Absolutely.
Can we add another line that would basically take an average of all the top 15? And I'd love to see where that percentage is. So what would because I have heard lots of people out there through my journey just say, hey, a good place to start is just we have these blue chip coins, just invest, a little bit in the top 15 coins. So if we can add that would be pretty cool to say, yeah, you could do that as an investment strategy. And that's going to average out to, I think, be pretty ugly, maybe average.
Yeah. So you mean averaging out the performance of the top 15 coins versus Epic as well?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's fair. That's
just
fair.
Add that as the bottom line, to where it's just added.
Yeah.
And we can.
Yeah, that makes sense, because a lot of people would when they're new to crypto, they would rather invest in the first 10 coins or take a more approach of that nature. So yeah, I think it's a good comparison. We'll certainly get that for next week.
Or a coin that has a dog picture. I think that's kind of that's kind of really a thing,
Which dog though? Which dog?
Well, it's funny because all the millions of dogs that are not performing are not mentioned. It's whatever the dog that Elon is currently pumping that usually gets the 99% of the mind share. So, but yeah.
That's great. Okay, well, this is, I will tell you, this is yet another impressive week. And if you guys will forgive me for whatever reason, I am.
And I just want to add one thing. Sorry to interrupt you. It's this. We're still up, 834%, despite a sell-off that was close to about almost 30% from the all-time high, which we got to about $3.81. So despite that correction, which right now the price appears to be consolidating, we're still doing extremely well compared to the rest.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit. Why don't you educate us on? So yeah, it got up to $3.70 ish, and then it went back down. So the people this last week that really enjoyed seeing it go up, and they're investing in it. Then now they're looking and they're like, oh, we're down. But can you please explain? We had the halving this week. What has happened on the exchange? If you can give us some insight there, so that people understand that is not a trend. That is just part of this process that goes on with the bumpy ride up.
Absolutely. Nothing goes straight up. When an asset increases its price, especially the way Epic has, people take profits. They have to pay bills. For whatever reason, they sell. And then the price finds a bottom, it consolidates, finds its floor, and then usually the move up continues when it's an asset that has value. So it's normal, I'd be worried if something just went straight up, but this is a healthy, normal correction in any kind of asset. So,
and good for all of us, right? It's like,
absolutely.
I am preaching dollar cost average into this with each paycheck. That's what I'm going to do from here on out. I've pivoted all my holdings, so I'm like all in, but I'm not done yet. I am going to continue to dollar cost average because I look at that as my investment in my kids and grandkids' future. A little bit goes a long way, and so that's kind of a special parental bag that I'm developing. I do want to just answer full armor of God. Uncle Vigilante, are you ever going to go back to the shows you used to do? That's a good question. And obviously it seems like my channel is now pretty much just dedicated to Epic Cash. And that's because I'm in my Epic Cash season, and my commitment was I will just, this is dedicated to me as a newbie and my journey. And so the journey led me to Epic Cash, 4 or 5 months ago with that first shitcoin trial. And you've seen how it's pivoted ever since. It's not pivoted because it's like, I just want to, suck up to Max and Yoga and Enrique and all of these people. No, it's just because I'm a fairly intelligent guy, and I'm like, this is worth my area of focus. Now, I know you used to follow me as the Uncle Odd persona, and YouTube just doesn't allow you to talk about anything like that. So what good does having 6 channels get banned do, except frustrate us? And they let me talk about crypto. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, I'm going to stop the screen share here. And Max?
Uncle V, if I could just jump in just very briefly with something, though, just to be completely fair and honest. I mean, just recently you had a very non-epic, very lengthy conversation about an NFT drifting game.
Yep.
Okay, that was actually being run by one of the very serious folks from the Pirate Chain community.
Yeah.
So there's zero about Epic in that. Okay,
Yep.
and this was a person that was actually unpacking some very meaty stuff about the NFT space, about the gamification of NFTs and stuff like that. And your approach was very mature and very unbiased and very unrelated to Epic. So I mean, this is one.
Right.
The other thing is,
Thank you.
and Enrique shared a very powerful, very non-crypto related interview not too long ago. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there too. So I mean, you're a figure in Epic. You're sort of the Michael Saylor at this point, I'd like to think, of Epic. Okay, but there's still a lot more there besides just Epic. Although Epic is pretty freaking epic. Anyway, but I just wanted to just kind of inject a little bit of objectivity, because I do watch all of your content, not just Epic related content.
Well, thank you. And we're going to learn today that even though this is Epic Cash Live, and so this is dedicated every Friday at noon to only Epic Cash, but it's really cool what we're going to share, what I want to personally share with you that should appeal to the hearts of every parent on this planet. This is way bigger than Epic. It's way bigger than my interest in crypto. This is a game changer of your family's future that I'm not going to talk about now. I want Max to go through. He has a few things, but we're going to get to it. So you should stick around because it's really, really powerful. Max, good morning. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming back.
Always a pleasure. It's an epic day.
Indeed. Indeed. What is on your mind this week? I know that you have been very, very busy. So unpack.
Wow. Yeah. I don't even know where to start. There's a lot going on. It's very busy right now with grassroots adoption stuff. So here in Miami, crypto is on everyone's minds, and you have phenomenon like mayors of not just this city, but New York saying, pay me in Bitcoin. And then my thinking is, well, wait a minute, like, do you want Bitcoin or do you want BTC? Because there's a bit of a switcheroo there. Did you know that it's going to be $62 to send it? Oh, did you know this? Did you know that? And so I think the actual Michael Saylor should come over to our camp. And until that happens, you're doing a great job. We're promoting true Bitcoin, not BTC, which is a weak sauce, inferior substitute. We can say that plainly now, because we wouldn't be carted off to the insane asylum like we would a year ago. But the fundamentals are the fundamentals. And so adoption, it's about payments, excuse me. So there's a building here in town, an apartment complex, has a few dozen, not an apartment complex, it's a residential tower, has a few hundred residents and I think about 50 staff. And so long story short, the building is going to be doing its holiday bonuses to the people in Epic, from the residents to the people. Excuse me?
Nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. And so I'm gonna go and give a seminar and help people set up their wallets. And I'm actually adding a turbocharger where matching any donations up to a certain amount and structuring it kind of as a bonus program, for the people that I appreciate in my little world. So that's one set of use cases. But then you've got the Italian cafe that is tired of getting ripped off by Bank of America, and the Clover machine never works, and my card keeps getting demagnetized. And finally, after a year, let me take 20 minutes and have an espresso and get you set up with crypto. And these guys will stop taking a bite out of our business indefinitely, because when it comes to banking services, it's slow and crappy service, but at least it's expensive. So there's that. And so, just soup to nuts, there's probably a half a dozen, maybe a dozen here, between the point of sale and P2P, like useful as physical cash is going away, and the electronic versions often are more friction. Why is my debit card getting declined when I have the money? Why do I have to call customer service and wait 30 minutes? And now, my daughter is crying and my feet are hurting. Like, just stuff like that really highlights the unique value proposition. And so with it actually having a value as a currency, it traded over 750K the other day of pure organic volume. You can use it as actual money. You only need to have one leg of the trade, as long as somebody will cover the other side. And so I feel we're reaching a bit of a critical mass point in a number of areas. And as those exponents meet exponents, it runs into the brick wall of scarcity, because 21 million is a very powerful thing. And we're also doing a better job of telling the story about the supply integrity of why the 21 million of Epic is much harder than the 21 million of a world where people hodl BTC and let others hodl their BTC. And so there can be as many as you want. So it'll take a while for people to really fully get their heads around all that. But as they do, right now, you can still get 20,000 Epic for one BTC. There'll be a time when that seems like a ridiculous, oh my God, yeah, Grandpa, you mean it was a nickel for a hot dog when you were growing up? No way. Yeah, this is that same kind of thing, and everybody can see it now.
Well, yesterday I a friend of mine, you know him, Dave Moser, we went to the Florida Bitcoin and Blockchain Conference at Amelia Arena, which is where the Tampa Bay Lightning play. So that's a huge venue. And I went in there and I was ready for 2 days of just learning more about Bitcoin, and went in there, not exaggerating one bit. There were 7 exhibitors. One was a skateboard company and another one was a tax advisor. And it was literally, I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was just so underwhelming. And I ended up listening to one initial speaker who was talking about the Lightning Network. And and look, guys, with my relationship with Max, it's kind of like cheating. So here I'm texting Max saying, if we had one question to be able to ask, what would it be? What would it be during the Q&A? So I raised my hand at the Q&A and said, let me understand. So to be able to get on layer 2, I have to on-ramp my BTC, right? And then to get it back, I'm off-ramping it back to the layer 1 blockchain. Is that right? Absolutely. And then everything up here, he described it like an abacus. It happens so fast because it's like in the Vite wallet, right? It just boom happens. So he did through all that sales spiel. And then I asked him, I'm like, now about those fees, I remember back in, I think it's May, to where it was like $62 to be able to use the network. And I said, so do I have it right that I would be, so that I could transact fast up here, I'm going to pay $68 to put my Bitcoin on, maybe during that time frame? Maybe that fee goes up. Maybe today it's only $10, but I'm paying a fee to onboard and offboard. No, thanks. Welcome, Epic Cash. So that was a very underwhelming conference. That was my takeaway. I got a day and a half back out of my life. We left at 11. So You know, which by the way, Max, I told you, if there was a lot of Bitcoin interested people there, if we had an Epic Cash booth, we would piss off all the Bitcoin people, but I guarantee you we'd sign up a boatload of new members. So we might think about
that's actually an interesting question. Maybe we can invite people to join the Epicenter DAO governance group. There's about 60 of us in there now. If you really care about stuff like this enough to have your voice be heard in a more intimate setting, then come and discuss. But that's actually been on our minds. You mentioned Pirate Chain earlier, Yoga. Yoga and I were actually here in town, and we met with the guys at the Pirate Chain booth, not just one, but two shows. They had two booths. And we were thinking about doing something like that. And I'm, in retrospect, very glad that we didn't, because their booth was next to literal scams, like rug pull, steal all your money, scams. And then one conference was called Shitcoin 2021. And I'm like, okay, right crowd, wrong name. Sorry. You know, we can't put our brand on that shelf. I'm sorry. So we went and we hung out, but we didn't do anything. And then it's also like the message that you send, like, is it a volunteer who's there? What is their interest? Are they getting paid? Is it some, you know, model, like a lot of industries in tech, they do the bro thing with booth babes and, you know, shaving cream and stupid stuff like that. So there's a lot of nuanced issues that need to be figured out. But more fundamentally, the internet itself doesn't have trade shows or booths. BTC doesn't have booths. The individual people that are building their businesses around the internet and around BTC do. And I think that should be the same here. So Epic Cash itself, it isn't a thing like that. So it can't have a booth like that. But there's nothing that says that people like Seapork, who are going to represent at the Red Pill Expo in Louisiana, if you're thinking about going, that's a great reason to go. Seapork will be there. And I believe a few other people as well. Definitely, by all means, have a booth there. And let's raise some money to print some stuff, and let's do some giveaways. Let's you know, do activations there. There's a whole world of wonderful things that we can do, and there's zero risk of kind of getting it wrong, because it's grassroots and it's organic. And one of our core tenets throughout has always been, and will continue to be, to resist centralization. So even like the planning of who would decide what booth goes where and why, and budgeting and resources, all that, like, no, just like, Pork, good on you, man. Go do that booth and let us know how it goes. And I think Trucker did one too, and let's do 1,000 of those.
Yeah, right? No, that's right. Hey, I have a question, a new person in here saying a couple of, what caused the skyrocketing of Epic last week? And then Wolfie said, price discovery number 2. Can you guys address that?
Why don't you take the first one, Yoga, and I'll speak to the second.
I'm just getting situated here with my setup. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, fabulous. So the price discovery, I mean, it's to me, it's an eventuality. Okay. Look, just like when we started and we were like a fraction of a penny, then we were a penny, then we were 7 cents, and people were like going, man, you know, when are we going to break 10 cents, you know, and feel like, oh, come on, man, you're dreaming, you know, like, and feel like, well, I think we're going to be a quarter by the end of the year, and feel like, wow, man, you're just really high, you know, and then we broke that, and we went up and up and up and up. Look, the fundamentals are there. Okay. The course is set, and with no marketing, with just grassroots like performance and people talking about it and sound technology, we're just creating awareness. We're creating gradual awareness. And what we know in crypto is things are not moving in a linear fashion. There are these moments of sort of critical mass, or these miniature explosions. Okay. And we've seen this, and these are discoveries by certain groups of demographics, for example. Okay. Where like these certain groups like kind of step into Epic and they go, wow, man, this is really amazing. Hey, my friends, you know, come and check it out. And they bring their friends with them, and there's this burst of a discovery kind of thing, and this is an ongoing process within our ecosystem. So I don't want to single out this one particular event, because if you look at our graph, like we had events, over time, that kind of like would bring some people in and then bring some more people in and bring some more people in, and this is why, I mean, paradoxically, but I say this, like today is the worst day for Epic, because tomorrow is definitely going to be better, because fundamentals are not changing. What's changing is the number of people that are using us, people that are engaged in us, people that are invested in us, people that are, becoming Epic marketers, in a sense, people becoming, creators of Epic use cases. So I think this was an example. Part of it was anticipation of the halving. Part of it was anticipation of the, and Max will talk more about that, but recalibration of algo shares, how we actually gave ProgPow people more shares of the total emission. I think that factors in. But the biggest thing is really, it's about the Epic community. It's just, we had so many people join in and step up, and through just organic, we don't shill, we educate. Okay.
A great point of differentiation.
Yeah, and that's what it is, and that's what gives it sustainability. That's what, and by the way, some of the rollback stuff, like we went to like 370, 380, whatever, rolled back to like low threes. What's funny is people, like those of us who are steeped in it 24/7, take some things for granted. I had a Russian miner reach out to me, and he was like, he didn't know that there was a halving. He didn't know that, he basically just, there's some folks, like, we take it for granted that we live in Epic universe, and we mine Epic, we transact in Epic, we do these things, but so there's these miners, okay, who basically mine whatever is the profitable crypto of the day is. They don't study the crypto. They don't hold it, whatever. They mine it, they sell it. They mine it, they sell it. They look at the price of the crypto, look at their energy cost, and Epic has been very, very good to these folks. What they didn't know is that there's a scarcity cliff that they just walked off of. And now it's like the difficulty, and like, wow, the difficulty really went up, man. What's going on? And oh my God, the rewards are cut in half. What's going on? I was like, well, don't you follow, like, oh, I don't have time for that. I'm just too busy mining. It's like, well, wow. There's a price we pay for knowledge or lack of knowledge. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And if this is a shocker, this is a shocker. You guys remember, well, I'm really old. I'm about to say something that's going to really date the crap out of me. Okay. But back in the 80s, that's a good starter. You can tell a business person versus a non-business person if they were reading the newspaper on Thursday. This is here in Silicon Valley. Okay. Yeah. San Jose Mercury News, came out with like stocks on Sunday, but there was a business edition that came out on Thursday. And so if you see at a coffee shop, if you see a guy, thumbing through the Thursday section of the business section, well, that guy's a business baller. Okay. He's playing with something called stocks, folks. Okay. And today, like, there's people that, they're less, they're miners. I mean, and my part of my background is, I was a miner with Bitcoin and Monero and whatever, but a lot of those folks, they just kind of like nose to the grindstone, and this is what they do. They don't get exposure into like all the other stuff that's going on, and a lot of them miss out, and this is the price of it, which is why I believe that we're going to have another, bump up, because we know what happened, but a lot of people, like, that knowledge is still percolating through the people that are actually intimately involved, but they're not following. See, like, this seems odd to someone, right, who is like in it. But if the guy's mining like 5 or 6 or 7 cryptos, and he just doesn't care, he mines it, and God bless these people, because they're supporting the network, and they're making their pennies, whatever. Yeah. Okay, and that's fine. But when I told this guy about the halving and about this and that, he unleashed a very powerful string of 4-letter expletives, because he was, I mean, this was FOMO. I mean, if you could like distill, this was like distilled FOMO. Okay, because he was like, oh, it's like, yeah, man, so he's like, well, I'm gonna keep a closer eye on the channels. It's like, yeah, good call.
So what you're saying is, you think maybe miners are going to, you think miners are going to be less inclined, or maybe there's much fewer coins to basically dump, for a better word?
Look, there are way less coins, okay, because it's way more distributed. Okay, we had some mega miners, okay, that were getting like the lion's share. Okay, with the algo shift, now, and the attention that we got, the mining community got massively more spread out, and the difficulty went through the roof. Okay, so
you want to put that up on screen, Uncle? The chart I sent you, the hash rate one.
Yeah, and Max, maybe there's a good point for you to take over and
sure.
and talk about that.
Yeah, so let's pull up the hash rate chart.
Okay.
I sent it to you in DM.
Is I see transactions over time, token info.
No.
There's somebody.
Let me just make sure that I did send it to you. Okay, so it's target, the one that says target difficulty. So in Telegram, it's in between, it's to the right of the Vite scan.
Okay.
Put two pictures in line, that's why.
Yeah, I gotcha. Let me open it up. I think I gotcha. Bear with me. I need to screen share. Get this out of the way. Sorry about that. I should have been a little bit more prepared. Okay, here we go. Screen share. And it's the one that says target difficulty?
Yes.
Okay.
And while we're doing that, what would really help us, everybody who's listening, is feedback on how we can improve. Our goal is to get 1% better every time we do a show. So little tips about how we can do better would be very much appreciated. And also it helps the channel if you like and subscribe. And of course, if you like it, then share it. So quick shout out there. So this is the type of stuff that we spend a lot of time unpacking in Free You. The question recently came up, what does this tell us about the differential or the differences between the marketplace for hash rate services of sellers who have RandomX hash rate availability, which are certain types of people with certain types of hardware and motivations and other things that they can do with them, versus the ProgPow market, which is the GPU market. That's no good. You just messed it up. So go back to the way it was, please.
Oh, all I did was
cut off the important part. There we go. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so as we can see that for a while there, RandomX was going through the roof. They both started, if we go back around a month or so, I think this is the 30-day chart. ProgPow was about $500 billion, 0.5, 0.6. I don't look at the price, at least I try not to, but I do look at the hash rate, because to me, that's where the story is told. And so with RandomX, you have CPU farms, huge like nets of computers. And when the price goes up and it's more profitable than Monero, they will jump on that and mine the heck out of it. And then 4 hours later, that coin hits the market. That's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just their business model. So when somebody comes in and says, hey, I need help selling Epic, the answer shouldn't be, what the hell is wrong with you? You should hold for the rest of your life. No, we should be like, thank you, because every seller needs, every buyer needs a seller, or else there is no market. So thank you for your service. And so anyway, when we go for a run, the RandomX goes crazy. But the GPU miners on ProgPow are guys that have a gaming rig. If you go to the mining channel, t.me/epic miners, it's like, hey, my sister just gave me her old GPU. Is this thing too old to mine, or is it worth plugging in? And then they'll go and do the math and help them get set up and all that stuff. And so the hash rate tends to be more loyal and sticky on the ProgPow. And if you switch to the Vite scan number of holders, the blue one.
Okay. Bear with me. Stop share that.
So the numbers are indicative of what we know intuitively to be true, which is that the maxis have it wrong. It's not that price follows hash rate. That's nonsensical. It is that hash rate follows price. And so increasingly, we've got the data here from the market to demonstrate that. But in the meantime, it can kind of be an open point of question that eventually people will come to our side on that very important topic of whether the tail wags the dog or vice versa. So anyway, the way we look at it is that the network is putting out a bounty to maintain its security. Economic security is what Bitcoin style system relies on. The tech is secondary. We are putting out a 5,760 coin bounty per day, which is 4 coins per block, out to the sellers of these hash rate services who could otherwise be mining Ethereum in the case of GPU, or Monero primarily in the case of CPU. And we're seeing how they respond to that competitive force. When we offer more for hash, more hash rate comes. When we offer less, and when I say we, it's the coin price of the market, finding a balance with that hash rate. And that's ultimately the magic of Bitcoin, which is that the world can put in as much electricity as it wants to find the balance of the coin demand side. And in Epic, more people can put in more hash rate with fewer barriers and restrictions. You don't need to go to China and spend $20,000 on a supercomputer engineer and install it in a volcano and all this. You can just download the app and run it. It is that easy. And so we're going to be able to pull in more hash rate for less and have more security for a lower cost and environmental footprint than BTC. And that's a big part of why we're going to win. So anyway, this is the current number of holders that have some Epic on Vite as of right now. It's 1,195. I just rounded it up to 1,200 to make the math easier.
Okay.
And so I've mentioned Metcalfe's law and network effects many times, but what is that? So if there's a network of 700 people that each have a telephone, if you do the math, it's 700 squared. They can make 490,000 connections between them. But now the 700 is the number that we had about 6 weeks ago, maybe something like that. Let's call it around a month. And now there's 1,200. So you can, if there's a network of 1,200 people that all have telephones, then they can make 1,200 squared, or 1.44 million different connections between them. And so what that shows is that the value of the network, based on the number of potential ways that you can use it, goes up by 293%, whereas the number of users only went up by 71%. And what do you know? We're seeing that in our coin price as well. So the network effects is one way to look at it. And then if you flip to the one that looks like a colorful mosaic quilt, transactions over time.
Alrighty. Open up, baby. There we go. And let me share, screen share. Okay, there you go.
All right, so this is a really interesting one as well. It's not a huge number, but it is increasing strongly. And so the story that this tells, the reason to look at the kernels is every transaction in a block is mixed with every other transaction in a block, and you can't unscramble the egg. And that's why the blockchain is only 2 gigs. But you do need a little bit of data residue so that the wallets can prove that the transactions happen. And so looking at the kernel gives you the number of unique transactions. And so anyway, each of these transactions in BTC would cost currently $3.82. And they would take 10 minutes if the network isn't congested. Sometimes it can take longer, like when China banned mining and they pulled the plug. It took 2 weeks to adjust the difficulty, so the transactions came out slower. So you've got a variable service standard that's at least 10 minutes. And it's also observable. So everything you do can and will be seen by everyone. And now that includes taxation on unrealized gains. For those that haven't seen Twitter, Mrs. Yellen on Twitter talking about that. So $100,000 BTC, let's call it 4 points of property tax per year. Get ready in April, $100,000 BTC, if you're lucky enough to have a whole one, that you got to come up with $4,000 for taxes to do your part for, Build Back Better and all that. So then there's Epic that doesn't have any of that. So Epic is not just private, but it's a harder standard monetarily than the BTC, 21 million. The transactions are currently 1 minute, but they're going to get faster. And they're a fraction of a penny. You can do hundreds of transactions and still not add up to a cent. It's just got that much spare capacity that it's almost too cheap to meter. The fees that are there are literally an anti-spam measure more than anything else. So you can also value one Epic coin. If you're doing a lot of transactions and you're paying BTC on chain fees, all you need to do is agree with your counterparty. Hey, can we stop using the postal service and sending like buckets of gold coins to each other via mule? Can we go to this new way of money? And so just one by one, people are finding like you and your daughter, or her moving her art business to this, or the residential building here, or the Italian cafe. There's just too much money at stake to be gained that people can't ignore it anymore. Or I mean, it's only 1,200, but if it's 1,200, it can be 2,400. And then as people understand the math of Metcalfe's law, well, why would you sell one of these coins at anything under 1 BTC? I mean, I know I'm thinking of it in that way because like ultimately, if you have two hammers and they can both do the job, then they should be priced comparatively. Epic can do everything that BTC can do and a much else besides. So I think ultimately the world's going to a Bitcoin standard, and legacy institutions will use BTC, but the people will use Epic. That's my thesis.
I like it. Well, you brought up my daughter. I want to show everyone. This is my daughter's work of art, kind of her core business, to where she creates these handmade, beautiful butterflies and monarch butterflies, and to where she works with people on custom coloring and everything. And you know, she's on Twitter, and there's this whole Twitter art world, Twitter art community. And these are a lot of starving artists in there. And so I had some conversations with her about Epic Cash, a while ago, and she kind of didn't listen. And her Twitter business, it's like they had this new algorithm or logarithm, whatever you guys say, that came out, and all of a sudden it's like her business started going down. And I'm like, Alex, how much time does it take for you to do this butterfly, and how much are you earning from it? She told me the time, and they go from anywhere from like $4.95 to $7.95, depending upon how big these are. I share that with you because I want to say, this week we operationalized a new business, entire new model that can be step and repeated by every artist out there or anybody with a service to sell. And I'll tell you how that was done. I sent her over a JPEG of our coin. And I said, initially it was, I just wanted to create this Genesis coin as a gift for you, Max, as just my gift, knowing what my daughter can do. I want to gift that to you. So that's how it started. And I went over there the other night, and if you take a look at this, let's see. Can you see that? Okay. So this was just me going over there. Where is it? And this is 60 seconds long.
Okay, Alex, so you just polished this. Look at how beautiful that is. Extra shiny now. That is extra shiny. Can you show us how you did the 1 of 100 on the back?
Oh, yeah, I can.
There you go.
So now it's
Max Freeman. This is the Genesis coin, the original, origin coin. This is 1 of 100. That is beautiful, Alex. Good job. I can't wait. Now, how do you package it?
Okay, so we're gonna have it packaged in here. It will have a sticker, the card.
And then you're going to have a certificate of authentication.
Yes,
I can never say that name.
Authentication, like father, like daughter. And then it will have its.
That's so beautiful.
Phone.
That is sharp. I mean, that is
you like
sharp.
it? It's like tuxedo-ish.
Your mama picked those ribbons out. She's so talented too.
She is.
What is this? Let's go. Stop. So I lost my. Is it still sharing?
No.
It's not. Oh, did it? Was I sharing it at all?
Yeah. Until like 10 seconds ago. We're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we saw it.
Okay. So anyway, I wanted to share with everyone, what's the blocker for my daughter thinking differently? And it's like, she needs green cash to pay her bills. So here she is just, busting butt, just trying to work her Twitter world out there when it starts to be kind of an echo chamber where they're just kind of almost supporting each other. And it's like, I'm like, I was so blown away by this coin when I initially saw it. I'm like, Alex, you need to create a series, and you're going to learn along the way. And I said, here's what I want you to do is I'm going to come over, I'm going to download the Vite wallet. I'm going to download Coin Market Cap. And what we're going to do is create a channel for you. And we're going to expose this to the Epic community to where if they want to get one of these very, very scarce coins, only 100 will ever be made. And it's 1 of 100, 2 of 100, etc. Then they can go to her channel and whatever the price of Epic Cash is, the equivalent of $500, you send that to her, you can claim your coin, and she's just knocking them out. So I want to go show you real quick, because this is what is just so cool to me, is this just went up like 2 nights ago. And let me screen share. This is her, if you went to t.me/buy Alex, BY Alex, ALIX. But it's like all of these people have gone in and claimed their coins. And it's so cool. Like Captain Pie, he wanted number 7 and he wanted number 42 for reasons that are important to him with those numbers. It's real cool. So Max, my gift to you, number 1, you deserve number 1. And I see you went in there and you got the number 100. So you are now the alpha and the omega. That is really, really cool. But how does this work? I mean, all of a sudden you have this artist that knows nothing about crypto. Well, I set up her wallet and I seeded her with a couple hundred Epic just to be able to show her how it's done. And then I told her the coins that I wanted to buy. And so I sent that payment showing her, and then they're receiving. And then yesterday she called me and said, Dad, I paid all my bills for the month, paid the mortgage, everything. I have $17. And usually what would have happened, me being good dad, is I'd say, how much do you need? I hope you get by. And I'll send 300, 400, whatever, to give her a little bit of food money or whatever coming out of my pocket, right? So now with this business that she's in, whenever she needs the green stuff, my commitment to her is, hey, it's real easy. You just tell me how much you want me to Venmo and you send me that same amount in Epic Cash and we're good. And so she was like, the best question that she could have asked yesterday. She was like, wow, I mean, I'm seeing the price. I really don't want to send you that much. Maybe I'm going to ask for a little less, see if I can get by. Do you mind if I come back for another bite in a couple of weeks, if I need it? Would you mind? Let me see how far I can stretch this. And I'm like, yes. Now she gets it. Now she sees the value of holding an appreciative asset. So that then got me thinking entirely differently. And I am like, if I am a parent, now all of my kids are grown, but if I had a 5-year-old kid, I would work with that child, get it on whatever phone or wherever that they could monitor it. Could be on yours, or maybe a lot of kids have iPhones these days that are younger. But I would seed them, personally with some Epic Cash in their wallet, but I would make them go through the process of being able to send and receive so they would get it. And then I would say, your homework or your allowance every week is going to be paid in Epic Cash. Now, the good news is you're in control. If you need $20 to go with the, go get some Halloween something, I don't know, you want $50, use your imagination, just come to me. That's fine. I'll give you the green stuff. No problem. I'll give it to you. I will be your fiat off ramp. Now we've just kept the coin, right, in the family, so to speak. So we're not losing the appreciating asset. It's just, and to me, that is just a big aha on adoption that I want to do a dedicated show on how to do that. But I want the parents can teach their kids about money and focus on saving it to where they get appreciation on their savings. They are rewarded for not wanting more green stuff to go buy, new Air Jordans or whatever. So I'll throw that out there, guys. What do you think of that model?
Yeah, that reminds me of something that shout out to my good friend John D. Rocca-Freeman, who's doing OTC types of things. He actually came up with this technique that he told me about that I think is quite ingenious. He pays 1% in Epic. So let's say like physical therapist, yoga, personal trainer, like whatever, person-to-person type of service. Oh, we're doing the Zelle again, the Venmo, a Cash App. You know what? There's a new way. What do you mean a new way? Well, there's this new internet money. Oh, I'm not interested. Okay. I owe you $100. Can I give you 1% in Epic? Sure. Send me 99 like we always do. And then a week later, whatever, they get around to setting up the wallet. I mean, that's like another part of the process that is not frictionless. And we need to figure out how to make that easier for people so that it is obvious and immediate and instant. But anyway, so assuming that loop gets closed, then you have that $1 worth of Epic. And it's, okay, I'll always buy this back from you at the current market price, or the market price, or whichever is higher. So if it goes down, the loss is on me. If it goes up, it's on you. And so what happens over the course of time, hey, you know what? Can we do 50-50 this time? Okay, sure. Yeah. Next time, you know what? I'll just take it all in Epic. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Like, I can, you can go buy it. I'll show you how. And so it's a stepwise progression, but that one little bit at a time really compounds, because I'm seeing some new voices and faces show up in our world that I was screaming till I was blue in the face at under a penny about how this thing is the best thing since sliced bread and nobody's interested. But then it's $3 and it's time to go tweet and live stream how you're all in now. Why weren't you all in 2 years ago? I mean, who knows? But I'm glad you're here now, and it's going to be great from here, especially with you with us. Glad, welcome, whoever it is. And so all these grassroots adoption strategies that the community is coming up with are how we win. And so we just keep finding stuff like that.
Tell us why the way that you design this, you and Todd, the team designed this to be fair launch, to go slow and steady, why that will serve us from a compliance standpoint.
Oh, that is so important. So many people have been involved as an investor with the XRP token, which the SEC is of the firm belief is a security. Now, whether it is or whether it isn't, that's a sword of Damocles hanging over that network's heads at all times, because the SEC wants to play for keeps. They want to put these people in jail and put them out of business. And since the network is reliant entirely on the company, that's a source of risk. And so defensibility and regulatory compatibility and being able to stay absolutely so far to the left of any type of lines that other people are crossing and being near and coming to harm because of, we just say there's a whole class of risks that other people in this space have to think about, and that takes up bandwidth, and we don't have to, and our investors and coin owners and users don't have to. Because if you were using XRP to transfer money from one place to another, and then you were holding it at the time that SEC thing came out, well, you just lost half your money. I mean, right. That's not good. XRP is not supposed to be a stablecoin. And so that's a functional problem that we solved in our design. Incidentally, there's a scorecard from something called the Crypto Rating Council, or CRC, and they have an exhaustive survey. It's on our website, epicenter.epic.tech/investors is the link. And so the CRC scorecard is up there. And it's dozens of questions. I think it's 39 questions or something, 4 parts in each. It's quite exhaustive. And they really get into the weeds on various aspects of centralization and management and control and other things that courts would look at. And they give you 20 points for this and 5 points for that. And if you're really good on a certain thing, maybe they give you minus 10. And so everything comes out usually like into the tens and hundreds of points, and it's various shades of gray. We scored between 115 and 155 negative. We are so compliant, we're below zero.
Wow.
So I'm not sure if anybody's seen that before, but yeah, we knocked it out of the park on that. And so 5 years from now, everybody who took any dollar from investors in any kind of way has to look over their shoulder, and we do not. And so that's a wind in our sails and a removal of friction that will help us get where we want to go.
I will continue to evangelize that people will be bragging about getting Epic under $5. And then it's going to be, people will be bragging about getting Epic Cash at under $10, under 50, under 100, under 1,000. This is, I think, life-changing. And I will tell you, it just also hit me as I was thinking about parents and allowance. I'm sitting here thinking about Christmas now, and I'm thinking about the Christmas gifts I'm going to be giving. You know, hate to say, you know, I'm all about Epic, but I'm not ever going to give any cash to anyone anymore, ever, as a gift. I will send them instructions on how to download the wallet. And once they send me their Vita address, then I will send their gift. Period. End of story. You want a gift from me, girls? Well, my girls, they all have it. But you know, just start thinking that way. Start thinking about your own family, your own operating reality, and how you guys can start transacting with each other. It's very cool. I told Alex, I said, Alex, you know, you just keep hammering away, because it's like we've found a use case here for these beautiful coins. Not the only coin in the industry, by the way. You know, you're creative. You could create, I'm sure there'd be a market for people that want that big B, ugly B coin. But she's thinking differently. And I said, think about how it will feel when those orders you just received and are going to fulfill. Think about how when you, with one fell swoop, should you choose to, you can borrow against your Epic and pay off your house. What do you think about that? And she doesn't get to borrow against Epic, and we're not going to go to that here, but with no tax consequence, by the way, with zero interest payment, and zero requirement to pay it back. So much good stuff to talk about here. But now she's focusing on the value of her portfolio, seeing it go up. And I swear, in all of her years of engaging in the world of Twitter, where they just Venmo each other, you know, she has never once thought about her account to see if it's growing, because that doesn't exist out there. So I'm all for continuing to support these artists. She has a friend who wants to create an Epic Cash candle. She's a custom candle maker, does it all herself. And so I said, I will help you figure this out too. Let's get all the artists over to a new business model based in Epic Cash. Okay.
Yeah, Uncle, this is really powerful. I mean, you didn't just touch off on it, but you kind of went into it, you know, and it's the stuff that they don't teach in school. It's the stuff that they don't teach in, depending on your major, they don't teach this in the university either. Okay.
No.
This is the kind of stuff that this is like the most valuable finance lesson a parent can give to their kid. Okay, look, you benefit from the fruit of your labor, and you don't hold it in depreciating currency. You actually learn about investment. You learn about, you know, to me, I still like my pitch that I tell people, like, well, how do I, you know, how much should I put into Epic? You know, if I'm not sure at all, you know, like, well, you know, I always tell people, you know, not financial advice, you know, but never play with more than you can afford to lose. So the starting point to me has always been like, look, clean your garage. Okay. Do a garage sale. Whatever you make, you know, from the garage sale, put it into Epic. Okay. That's simple. Okay, worst case scenario, you're gonna have a clean garage.
Hey, yoga, to add to that, I learned from a lady yesterday at that Bitcoin conference that she did a complete, exactly what you're saying. And she marketed on the Facebook market, like all of this furniture in her house and everything. But her condition was that she would only accept Bitcoin. So she wouldn't accept the green stuff to go convert it. So it could be because people know Bitcoin and they have it. So if I'm smart, I'm doing exactly what you just said, but I'm going to get it in Bitcoin. So then you have your BTC that you could go drop into the non-KYC Vite wallet and chomp up some Epic. That's
and the same with Bitcoin is it's a steadier medium of exchange than dollar on some days, but ultimately it's a discovered commodity at this point. I think Bitcoin jumped the shark in a sense that, look, 140 million plus people are holding it in one form or another. Okay, it's not quite where gold is, but it's kind of gotten to a point where, just look at its performance. It's like the people vast majority of the people discovered it that were going to do something with it. Okay. And it's gotten so expensive and it reached sort of a stability point. I think that today people are saying like, well, Bitcoin is still going up in price. Sure. Yes, possibly. But although, you look at like Enrique's chart, that's proof in the pudding right there. Okay.
I love it.
This is not much speculation. I'm just leaning on the like sober, real figures. Okay. Oh. And to me, where Epic Cash is in the beginning of the journey, 2 years into it with the same fundamentals, but more on the ball than Bitcoin.
Right.
I just see it going further. And, like Lightning Network and all those things that you guys talk about, it's like, sure, yes, you can kludge stuff onto Bitcoin to make it better. That's great. Okay. But again, it's 13-year-old tech today. Whereas Epic is still in the process of discovery and the fundamentals are solid. It's censorship resistant. It is truly borderless. You look at some of the interviews with the maxis, the honest maxis, you look at the interview with Antonopoulos, when he's talking about, they admit the lack of fungibility. Jason Williams, in his book, admits a lack of fungibility. It is non-fungible. Therefore, it is traceable. Therefore, it is taintable. Simple as that. Okay. Whereas with Epic, it is a cleaner blockchain. It is a more honest blockchain in a sense that it doesn't expose you to everybody. Okay, you have your records, you have your information, you can pay taxes. This is not an anti-tax, anti-government, like let's blow up the world thing. Bullshit. No, it's not. What it is it gives control to the individual. It does not absolve the individual of legal responsibilities, but it gives the control to the individual. Okay. And those of us who are lucky enough to live in a more democratic governments versus those of us who are living in a considerably less democratic governments understand that more intimately, I think.
I recently engaged with somebody who loves them some privacy coins, and they were talking about Epic Cash, and I went in and I'm like, surprised them all. I'm like, Epic Cash is not a privacy coin. And they're like, what? And I said, no, Epic Cash is a whole lot more, of which one of its features are private transactions.
It's not a defining, it's not a defining thing. It's we're the crypto for everyone. We're the crypto, we're the up and coming, leaner tech, better tech, more honest tech. And what's more important, because of our fundamentals, we are resistant to being hijacked by the bankers. We're resistant to being hijacked by the governments. We're resistant to being hijacked by the corporations. That's exactly it. So you don't have to trust us. You trust the tech.
Well, and by the way, this is just going to be a quick shout out. And Alex, I know she won't mind, but she paid some tuition yesterday with me, because when she asked for the $300, we went through the process of her sending me the Epic Cash. It was the first time that she sent her Epic Cash. Well, I'm like, honey, I think you overpaid a little, because she had hit the all button and sent it to me. Oh. And like, once she realized that, she said her face went red and she was breaking out in a rash and I said, honey, she goes, "Oh my God, I'm so glad it was you, Dad. What if I did that to somebody else?"
Honey, I'm going to teach you the most valuable lesson. I'm going to keep the money.
but it went back. But I tell you, anybody who might be new, just understand that with cryptocurrency, this is as 101 as it gets. You are your own bank, and when something goes wrong, it can go really, really wrong. Now, that case, it was in the family, and no big deal. It's a learning lesson, and and she will never forget that lesson, and she will never get somebody involved in Epic Cash without telling them that story, by the way. So it's like, when things go wrong and you're your own bank, the customer service number dials to you. And usually the customer service kind of sucks when you're at that kind of state. So that's just a quick life lesson, I guess, that she had yesterday that is everybody should be aware of. The other thing that I want in all of our Telegram chats, because we're starting to get, hey, yay, I think we're over 1,500 now in Epic Cash community. But as we grow, and as there are more and more people who become aware, there are going to be scumbags who infiltrate and may try to replicate, me or Yoga or Max, and then go and DM people and ultimately behave like they're Uncle V or whatever, and then maybe ask, "Hey, can I help you? I see you're new here. I'd love to be able to help you walk through on how to do this. Now take a screenshot of your seed words. Let me. I'm not kidding you. Those scumbags are going to be out there. Wow, so man. Just be very, very careful, people. Our community is very protective of you, the newbies. So
go to Freeman U. Go to Freeman U and learn all this stuff. There's no stupid questions, only the stupid people that don't ask them because they're embarrassed.
Yeah, that's exactly right. T.me/Epic Cash community or is it just Epic Cash?
Just Epic Cash.
Epic Cash. That's the primary community, and then you can get to lots of other offshoots from there. If you happen to be a freedom lover, we have an Epic Freedom channel. If you are an artist or a meme art creator, we have those side channels. We have off-topic channels where everything goes.
Mining channels.
Yeah,
for the miners.
Channels. And I will just tell everyone, please, down below, a couple things, but please smash that like button, hit the notification bell, and why don't you send a link to my show to a couple people in your operating reality whom you think might be crypto curious. If you do that for me, that'll help the channel grow. And as we do these Epic Cash lives, the more people that watch it, get educated, bingo, this is how we get the network effect going. But for those, so that's Epic T.me/Epic Cash, and then Max referenced Freeman U. So that's T.me/Freeman U, just the letter U. Please go there. Just be a voyeur. Go there like you're going to get your news every day, and just start reading. Or if you want to go scroll way up and just binge read, you will learn so much in there. And I do not know any project out there that has anything like it, to where we want to be able to teach you. We don't want to just preach Epic Cash in the Epicenter ecosystem. No, we want to get you to where you think about things differently. And I'll end with this, guys. I will tell you that I have, by going through, the School of Hard Knocks over the last year, since January, and learning about crypto and learning from you guys and learning from Freeman U, I now understand our real financial system out here. All these bells start to go off and say, God, I get it now. Centralization, I get it. When the money printer go brrr, what's happening to the value of my dollars? It's things I never really thought about until I saw the counter to it, the anti fiat BS that's going on in our daily world, to where we're seeing prices just go crazy on a T-bone steak. It just gets stupid. So with that, I'll let you guys take it out. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Yeah, I wanted to add one thing to what you said. Uncle V. And it's about an article that summarizes the meeting that took place by the Fed. I think it was on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay.
It's titled Federal Reserve Scales Back Pandemic Stimulus Will End by June of next year, obviously. And one of the key takeaways from that, here it says, Fed officials said in a statement, and this is one of the reasons why people kind of need to understand that their money in the bank is, they're committing financial suicide by having money in the bank and not in appreciating assets like Epic Cash and like precious metals, land, and other sorts of assets. It says Fed officials said in a statement that they still anticipate inflation, which remains near 30-year highs, as transitory, with the central banks clarifying that pressures are expected to be temporary. So the translation for this is there will be hyperinflation at some point, and it will not end in June, as they claim. It never does. We've been going through this same story since, for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Even before that, since 2019, since September of 2019. So, I mean, these are just obvious reasons. The writing is on the wall of where people should be placing their value right now. And that's all I wanted to add right here.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yoga, you have any words to wrap up from your end?
Not really. I mean, we talked about things already. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's just, all I can say is stay tuned, but there's a lot of good things happening.
You were going to mention hash rate on our pregame call.
I thought Max did a pretty good job covering that. I mean, in a nutshell, yeah. I mean, look, it's the halving and the impact of the halving is just beginning to sink in. Okay. People are just realizing, like, there's a lot of miners coming into the community, so the difficulty is going up. The hash rate of the network is going up. Okay, so the winnings, if you will, from mining are becoming broader and broader distributed, and it's pretty exciting. And the amount of cheap Epic, we went from 11,000. Max, check my math. I mean, we went from 11,000 emission daily to about 5,500 emission daily of Epics.
5,760. And incidentally, that goes in only under 2 years. It goes to 2,880. So we can already start the countdown for the next one. There's 5,000, usually sometimes as high as 10,000 miners in over 100 countries. And we're working on getting the rest. So the network effects and driving decentralization and maintaining that, like we've really hit that critical mass liftoff point versus BTC. And so we don't have time to get into all the different reasons of how the Epic blockchain can be used that the BTC blockchain can't be used. But just as a scarcity proposition, right now, the supply of BTC is going to go down by 75% in the next 7 years for BTC. So if you own that, you're benefiting from 75% supply reduction. The corresponding figure for Epic until the singularity is 95%. So we punch way, way, way above our weight, all the way up until there's parity, one Epic and one BTC. And I know that sounds crazy right now, but as we get into the utility and the things that you can do with it, then it becomes less crazy.
Max, you were kind enough to share with a group of us a letter that you sent to a very important head of a hedge fund. So it's an investor's presentation for the DAO and whatnot. I read that, and it was so concise, and it's like there were so many light bulbs that went off into my head because of how you presented it to somebody who was already familiar with the space, so they could speak the language. I would make a recommendation, if you're open to it. I would love to see something like that, to where it would be generic, where people could just literally see, well, how is our ecosystem presented to high-end individuals who know their stuff with blockchain technology and with this crypto universe. And you could take out the names and take out deal structure, all of that. But would you be open to making that available? Sorry to put you on the spot, but
Yeah, just need to ask for volunteers to help do some editing and formatting and stuff like that, because I think that was version number 37 or something.
Yeah.
My printer's been working overtime here, poor thing. So if you know your way around Google Docs and stuff like that, then drop me a line and I can use the help. But absolutely, and I think the challenge for us as we go forward is to speak to all types of audiences. And so how do we chew on that arcane hedge fund academician type of communication and tweak it for somebody that has more pressing concerns, like how to pay the bills next Tuesday because they only have $17. And so creating content is one of the most important things that people can do to help out and make make the value of their stake, whatever it is, large or small, grow. So if you have any interest at all in education, content creation, stuff like that, there's tons of ways to plug in. And we also have ECR available for people to earn it through their contributions. So definitely time to get involved if you've been thinking about it, or even if you have and want to get more involved. Ping me after the show. Thank you.
Yeah, that is certainly something that other people are sharing with me, is that when they Seapork left me a really long message about this, to where it was like he came into the community almost kind of like a get off my front lawn personality, just wanting to presuppose a lot of negative things about just another wannabe privacy coin, right? So he came into the community, and what won him over is the community. And he started seeing, he's like, wow, there's a lot of really friendly people in here who are really eager to help others. And there's so many people that are, just like full of joy in here, versus where I'm used to kind of the world of angry men, within these other communities, to where everyone's just ankle biting each other. And so that literally is, I'm really proud of our community in that it is indeed so inclusive, and yet it is so independent as well, because there are offshoots and people can follow their interests. And look, we don't want a community to where everybody agrees with each other, but what we want is a community to where we can focus on how do we impact the positive value of Epic Cash and the ecosystem, and how can we do it all together. In football terms, it's like, everyone just put your hand in the pile. Let's get busy. Let's get to work. So, and the other thing is, momentum breeds momentum in any kind of business, any kind of community. And what we're seeing right now, I believe last week, was just a byproduct of a spurt of momentum. And that's really cool, which is when I was asking if you could genericize that investor's letter, I was thinking for me, it's like, that would be something that I could send to some crypto savvy people, to where they will, it's almost like third party validation. Look, this is going to investors out there. You might want to read it from that perspective. Like, if you were reading this, is it clear? Is it not clear? Do you have any questions? But for me, that's going to become a really important tool to not only learn about it myself, because it's worth just studying, printing it out and studying it and reading it 50 times until you get it. But also, it's going to be a tool for me to help expand the community. And I think everybody's going to benefit from that. So, all right, guys. Well, it is 1:18, so we went over, but it's our movie, so we define how long an hour is. Everybody in the chat, thank you. And Patrick, I know you asked, how do you withdraw Epic Cash from VDEX? It's impossible. They ask users to submit address of the recipient, but the Epic Cash wallet does not use the address. And then you followed that up with a later question. And I'm not ignoring you on that. I just dropped a link to t.me/Epic Cash help desk. And that's where you would go. And I just didn't want to take my eye off the ball of being with these gentlemen here. to answer that. So that's where I would suggest you go.
Yep. And there are ways to do that. So it's not that hard. So just go to the help channel and folks will help there.
Perfect. And I will just give a shout out to Videx is a fine exchange to keep your coins on, and we do have some wallets that are being created that by end of year probably are going to make everyone really, really happy. But in the meantime, you tell me what's wrong with Videx. I love it. It's once you get the hang of it, it's
the easiest wallet I've used.
It works,
so
guys. Yeah, it works. People that tell me like, oh, it's difficult, or that they're having a hard time understanding how to trade stuff. Honestly, that pretty much just means that they haven't traded, period. Because Kraken and a lot of the other exchanges, like the buy sell format, it's industry convention. It's pretty standard to the industry,
right?
And again, I don't want to sound like a really old badger, but man, kids these days, they don't know how good they got it, we have to go uphill, uphill both ways, knee deep in the snow. And it's going to get easier.
And it will get easier. So the priorities are V3 is the blocker for mobile wallet. A mobile wallet, when it comes out, will surely have bugs. So we'll have to do some fixes and figure out what couldn't be caught in testing, and then there will be feature requests and stuff. So we set it up to be able to iterate quite rapidly once we get going. And a few of those iterations will be to improve the user experience of both the VTEX DEX and the other cross-chain DEX stuff that's coming into play around EUSD and tying that together with some of the other tokens. So we'll plant the seed for next week. Let's add that topic to talk about airdrops and grabs and all that good stuff. But essentially our smart contract framework is called EON, the Epicenter Open Network. So in other words, our ETH, our Solana, our Polkadot, our Avalanche, those would be some similar slots on the shelf to think about this. And so EON ties in pretty well with what we've got here to be able to do a lot of things via smart contracts, like your transactions with your daughter. Imagine you hook up a bot that works with your Zelle and Venmo app, and when she sends you coins, it runs it through the blockchain and just does it for you. We can make a lot of that magical stuff happen, or not even us. We just create the framework for people to do stuff like that. And then they get paid basically to move value around. EON is ultimately about moving containerized units of Epic, so-called E1 tokens, or wrapped E1 is the name of that, around. And so just like FedEx gets paid to move packets of documents, our network gets paid to or pays people to move packets of financial information around. So that's EON, and that's what you will get if you hold Epic and ECR. So we'll continue to provide reasons to stay in our boat and become increasingly committed, hopefully.
Yeah, it is chomp time in Videx with the red, just like a little chomp. Well, this has been great. Thank you everyone in the chat for showing up. I really always appreciate these on Friday. And I think we've all said what we need to say this week. Wish everyone a happy and safe weekend. We will see you. Always remember Wednesday nights. I try to get somebody from the community to come on with me. Don't have that special guest yet lined up, but I will. But I dedicate Wednesday nights to you, and to be able to present a community member to show how they are adding value to the energy within this Epic Cash blockchain. So